6:15. We are back. Actions result non-public. We approved Heather O'Donnell as after school enrichment and Jamie Buck as the head teacher for next year. We did accept with Chelsea's resignation from the kitchen. So that will be posted tomorrow as a part-time kitchen helper. So if anyone in the room's interested, we have availability. All right, so Heather, if you could grab that for me, please.
Oh.
Thank you. So tonight, being June, is the last for Pat Ambrose as our recording secretary. It's been 13 years, Pat?
12, yes.
12 to 13 years. Pat has taken minutes for us, and they have been. It's something that's going to be really hard to achieve the same level that Pat has done for us over the years. She has been asked to read minutes back and taken the tone of that person and read the minutes back. There was some that I enjoyed a lot more than others. It was great, but Pat's always been able to keep us in check and has been very professional in how she does things. Heather picked up carnations of every different variety that she could find because Pat, growing up, grew up on a carnation farm, I believe.
Yes.
So it brings back a little bit of history, Pat.
Yes,
So
you.
Pat, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you've done for us over the years in this district. So, much appreciated. Approval of the agenda. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Sarah, second by Jeremy. Any other discussion, additions, or deletions? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Sarah looked like she had something there.
Keeping my mouth shut.
All right.
Shockingly.
Approval of minutes of the 5-6 school board meeting. Motion for minutes from the meeting. Oh,
I have a correction.
oh, what? First, I just had all nice things to say. All right, Pat, go.
Line 154 should be literacy, literary.
I'm sorry, which line?
One.
Line 154. It's not the literary club,
Got
or whatever, literary.
Literary Foundation.
It's fine. We know that.
So, motion to approve. Sarah, second. Jerry, any other discussion? None, all in favor? Carries. Step into the consent agenda. So in the consent agenda, you have your principal's letter, your fund balances, your capital reserve plan, your Kennett Middle School and High School principal's letters in here as well. Is there anything that needs to be pulled out of the agenda? All right, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda as...
Can I ask a clarification?
Sure.
Going forward for next year, where the sixth grade will be at the middle school, will the numbers different, or could you ask them?
Right, their total, so not to include what it is without sixth grade.
Or maybe, I don't know. If they specify numbers going ahead next year.
Right.
Superintendent can ask.
So maybe have them break it down by grade level.
Maybe, so we can just see.
Yeah.
Back to this.
See what.
At the middle school?
Yeah,
Yes.
so high school's not changing.
I'll reach out to
Grade
Rick.
wise.
Sure.
You won't be Rick.
Maybe I can get if I call real quick.
Right.
Katie Bedley will be the new principal.
Katie Bedley. Nice. We'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda by Sarah, second by Ed. Any other discussion? Seeing all in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Okay. All right, SAU 19 joint board meeting. June 6th, that's Thursday night, 6 p.m. at the Conway Professional Development Center. You're not going to make it. Okay. Try to make it then. The Madison Select Board School Board meeting, joint Madison Select. Oh, okay. The meeting with the school board and the board of selectmen.
That's in
Our
the
meeting on the 11th
town hall.
at town hall. Yep,
I won't be there.
down in their meeting room. Yes, you will.
Is that downstairs?
It is downstairs, right near the police department. So keep Sarah in check.
I'll be there. No one, you'll be there too.
Sixth grade promotion is June 13th, 6 p.m. here at the school. Last day of school for students is June 14th, and that will be an early release. And if the sixth graders don't want to come that day, they don't have to. We're not marking against them. Just saying. I said. Say it every year, go up because it's something fun. SAU third board meeting is June 17th p.m. in Madison. And we will also have and it'll be posted, a Madison school board meeting to approve a recording secretary immediately following the joint board meeting there. Last day of school for teacher will be June 18th. And that is it. Public comment. Full house. Oh, seeing none.
I'm with my friend from the PTO. Just really looking if there is an update we have on where some funds we spent, and if at the end of the year they might find their way to a much better looking playground than we have right now. We've fundraised hard as much as we can. You know, we raised, I think we figure over 22,000 at the point has gone towards it. Obviously, wonderful portion of it has been in the school budget. That's awesome. And just seeing now the plans might be for the deficit, you know, between the actual cost of the playground, what we have so far. So just that is why we're here. We're looking for an update. And people started. We're hoping to see some great improvements in the school. There's also a community seat as well. And so for us, fundraising just at the school is something that's used by the wider community, and just seeing where things are. That's why we're here.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's very important.
It is. And we'll.
It's our blood, sweat, and tears, literally.
Well, it's hard to see these kids that have worked so hard losing these funds,
Right.
moving to the
That's
middle
true, because their
without-
parents have helped also.
Without having.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think that was why we had the discussion of adding into the budget too, because it was, you know, you work with when your kid starts as a kindergartner all the way up through, and by the time sixth grade, there's still
No change.
the efforts are great, but it's to raise capital funds.
Right, hundreds of thousands.
Right.
For, like, it's a
Yeah.
lot of bake sales.
Yeah. I'm saying a lot of cooking. I didn't want to value what's been
Right.
done.
No, it's just, I mean, it's true that we, you know.
Yeah. So Heather,
And the school has other needs that we support as well. I
Right.
think that part of it is that we try to take that money that we raise
Right.
and divide it out. And if we all just go into playground, the drama club doesn't get any microphones. And,
Or
you know,
the
they're
beautiful
squeeze
projection
and-
screen that was just delivered today.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's,
That's just for us, so.
right.
all the good things you did during Staffation Week. So Heather, we'll talk about fund balance in your report. So it's coming. We're going to
Thank
talk
you
about
for-
that and make some preliminary decisions. But at the end of the day, the final decision on where the money, how we move it around, will happen August meeting. But we'll have to have a public hearing to move some money around as well. So, but it's we're not out, just working on it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Any other public comments? Okay. Principal report.
So if you go to page 10, you have some beautiful pictures there of our houses. This is our first year with our house system. I think it has gone really fantastic. We look forward to building on that next. At page 13 is your projected enrollment Right now, we're looking at 110 students, which is an overall drop of 7. We know we have some students that may be moving out because they're moving out of town, but we also anticipate some students moving in. So this is just what we have on this right now, not taking into account anything new. 11 for kindergarten, what from registration. We have sent another registration pack this past week to another kindergarten family that missed our original registration and wants to just sign their child. So that's our tentative enrollment.
Perfect.
HVAC, we continue to just plug along behind the scenes to make sure that we are good to go on the 17th. We've had a meeting with digital controls folks and things ready to go. I think everyone is teed up to start, and they plan to have multiple contractors on site from the beginning on the 17th. So we should be in good shape there. I did talk with Schomburg, and he's coordinating with Irving to get our propane tanks delivered and installed. I think all is well.
Okay.
And then leadership team update.
Tap on that for 1 second. So you did send a letter to them notifying of the project times, dates, all that. Okay.
Yes.
Just want to make sure that that's been out there, that people are aware that it's going to consume most of the beginning of the summer.
We did send it and confirmed receipt.
Okay, perfect.
And you can talk about it at your meeting next week.
Yes.
So leadership team update is just make sure people know that we have a leadership team. So we have staff from different teaching positions in the building that come here with me as a leadership team. And this year we have worked through a lot of our professional learning committee times. We meet once a month to, or teachers meet once a month to discuss some topic. It's been focused on math for the past 2 years. Next year we're looking at making the switch towards the literacy. They're a good group of people that help kind of drive. They helped with the responsive classroom that we've heading of the year for training, and as we move forward looking at other change might make, we're looking at kind of reconfiguring our RTI program and making it more of a MTSS with multi-tiered systems of support. So it's similar to RTI, but it combines the academic and the behavior together, and it will help us to be more effective with the utilizing the staffing and other resources that we have to meet the needs. So we're kind of using our staff to their best ability for whatever our needs are. So your reading specialist has some great background in behavior, so we can tap into that under this MTSS model. So making sure that we're just using everyone's strengths for what is for kids.
I'm sorry, Heather, what's MTSS again?
Multi-tier system support. So RTI has like that, which is everybody gets at tier 2, it has an intervention, then tier 3, which is more of a really targeted intervention. So same thing, it just incorporates the behavior piece, which is missing from the original art program. It was just strictly academic. So this just kind of brings around that whole child perspective.
That's pretty neat.
So how are we doing here?
And student success support. This year, that team.
So we had a leadership team happening, and the student success team happened, and it ended up all the same people. So I think we did what we needed to as a success team, and then the leadership team just has kept plugging along.
Okay.
But we will revisit next year. We'll review again. We need to make sure that we're making progress and make any recommendations for program or curriculum change based on what our needs are.
Questions for
And I really hope you saw PTO also sponsored different scholarships. So you have the Nancy Spalding Scholarship that was given to Catherine Shackford and Samantha Sidoti, and Wesley Savory got the AS Arts one, which recognizes our integrated arts tiers and our drama people. The other thing that's on the list that I want to talk about is new. Kennett is due for their senior high school kids. They are doing a little going on tour and going back to their elementary schools. So on Friday we will welcome our MAS alumni to come back as seniors in the gowns and walk through the building. So they can see the kids, give them high fives, see the teachers. So
I love that.
So we're busy working on having finding pictures of them to decorate one of the bulletin boards. They can see like when they were here what they looked like.
Where's Holly's video from that year?
Oh man, Holly's trying to still find her yearbook from that year.
Oh.
That was the year of the ransomware, so we had a lot of compromised files. So yeah, that was the year of it. We're trying our best.
Got
But
it.
we're excited for something new, different tradition.
That's a great idea.
And I know Mr. Carpenter's hope is that it also inspires the younger kids to see these kids walk around in caps and gowns, like, oh look, I want to be like
That's
that.
gonna be
And
Yeah.
so
He's really nice.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Anything else for Heather? Anything else from Heather?
I'm good.
Maybe to
The other Heather.
I'm starting news. Same story, it's just chugging along. We are gonna, I think, go under what we estimated for Medicare revenue. We did finally get a big check in May, big $500. We hadn't
Spend it
seen
all in
much
one place.
year. So that's there. I know some of the estimated revenue was a little low. I think sped aid came in higher, so on the revenue side, we're fine. On the expenditure side, I had closed purchase orders, I think May 15th, to all the districts. And I've been working them up to make it for a year, at least that's the goal. We'll see how that works out. But in the process, we're just going to see what's left open, if it makes sense. Checking has been paid through the course of the year. And I made some corrections because it turned out that there were some invoices that were paid outside of the purchase order, so that there were funds owed on them. So I'd say if we're looking at Fitch's projected fund balance, it was before adding back this year's reading. It was saying 13,000, and in April I had those 38, and now we get to the end of May, I have a positive 24,000, but I made about $56,000 of corrections based on what we have today. We're committed, we have contracts for some of these, so it was really easy, and on the others it was just our historical month amount that we owed. So our funds is now projected about 24,000 to end the year, which is really good. We had some unanticipated out of district costs. We do have some funds in there for special ed costs for Conway that really is our best guess at this time. It could be over, it could be under, it could be right on. I think we err on the over, we'll see. Those bills will come out in July, so that's why we're waiting until August till we really get a fund balance. So right around 24,000, and we add back our retained from that we're doing this year, 152, so 176, and then we do have a warrant article 7 that was voted up to 50,000 to the building capital reserve from fund balance. So about 126 is what I'm looking at, and I will have a better update in August.
We will come with an up price for playground.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll be there with my friends.
Or maybe I should be staying over here.
There'll be no public comment.
Just speak anyways, you know me.
I thought you were sitting with your friends. but whatever.
Oh, all right. You're my friend. But
How much we put back in the 2.5%? Do you know that number?
You can do
says
up to
164.
164,000.
Was it written there?
Down at the bottom.
Oh, right below. Okay.
So at this point, all of what I'm projecting can be set aside.
Got it. And we won't have the numbers from Conway until,
We usually see them in July, I think, historically, so.
okay. And then we can look and see how much we can keep to the playground. How
the
much
pressure's
playground-
on here. You
Bring it
guys.
on.
The pressure
I like
is
pressure.
on. Yeah, good.
We have 50,000 in the budget, but I don't know what the total, should we know about what the total
It
is?
was 150.
Last time we checked, which
Last time
was,
we checked,
that's
it's
if you
about
took it off.
150,000 smackaroonies
Yep.
for a beautiful playground. for community
There's also
of
50,000 left for
and
next year,
Madison
Right.
Elementary to enjoy.
right.
Because if you've been to Multiple Recreation Department, they have a beautiful playground that should be here in Madison.
So can we stop the camera for a minute and just go steal theirs?
I didn't stop it.
Where's the B button?
Acquire.
I have not seen what they have, but I'm sure it's beautiful. And and we will do everything we can to help get you there.
Thank you.
I should say I will do everything I can.
Physically
Four others-
also, you'll be out there working, just like you did last time, and Ed too, so thank you.
As long as it's on Tuesday.
Yep, Ed was helping too, so
Yep.
we appreciate it.
Questions
Where
for
was Jeremy?
Heather?
He'll be here. I'll pick him up.
Next time.
Okay,
I got a question.
yes.
If, for the capital reserve fund balances, capital reserves, like special ed?
Yes.
We're pretty well overdrawn.
Could
Have
we,
to have
The
a-
budget, is it, what are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about the reserve for special ed, where our special ed is overdrawn
Yep.
in general. Do we have to have a public hearing to reserve, do
To
you have to see
use-
a notice to use monies from that?
to use money from the capital reserve to offset? Yes. We technically, the board is agents to expend. The promise that was put out years ago when that was approved is that we would have a public hearing to notify the public. And
Have to be noticed specifically for that fund, or could we have it at a public hearing?
it would be noticed for that fund.
Okay.
So to expend funds from the capital
Right now,
reserve.
we won't,
Is special ed overdrawn?
Yes.
the special ed lines are definitely overdrawn.
About 170,000.
Your budget as a whole is not.
So
at the
we
moment.
could,
That could change.
right, so we could, if we want to make sure that we can fund the 2.5%
That's what I'm getting at.
said playground,
Yes.
have a public hearing for that, to
And-
pull money from there.
And
So,
also because you're draining your capital reserve fund for the HVAC project
Building
too,
capital
so.
reserve.
Right, the building one, so it might be handy to draw from a couple of different places.
yep. Yes.
Mhm.
So why don't we post that for our next?
For your June special meeting?
You probably want to have it in August.
No, I'd
August.
rather do it in August when we have
In August, we
more
can have all the
accurate,
numbers.
more, I'm not gonna call it accurate, more up-to-date numbers.
Right.
Once we have Conway, and all that's in there in play, then we'll know what we have to work with.
When's
Because
the meeting in August?
it'll be the first Monday of August. August 5th, to be specific. Okay, we'll do that. So that makes sense. And do we've already approved taking money out of the building capital reserve for the
Right.
other projects, so we don't have to deal with that at that time. But yes, that way we can move everything around as needed. All right, food service, meal pricing.
Jen and I have been working, kind of off and on all year.
Oh,
But it's,
glad we pay you all year.
together. No, it's that time of year, I have to do for the National School Lunch, I don't even know what it's in for, calculation, and it's a price raise calculator that's part of it. And our current price of $3 is still under our cost per meal, which on this came out to $3.30. So the maximum that we can raise lunch is 10
10
cents.
cents.
Just lunch is one that has that 10-cent cap. So we are proposing that lunch price be changed from $3 to $3.10.
I will take a motion to raise the lunch price from $3 to $3.10.
Is it a federal thing that we can't go more than that?
That is
Yes.
federal.
That's a great thing.
Yeah, they lock you in. And can I get a second on that?
Second.
Jeremy, any other discussion? 10 cents, okay. If, and that does, the 310 just does not include free and reduced lunch or,
Just
oh, free and
meals.
reduced lunch, I guess that covered both.
Or we have more proposals for you.
Okay, all right, so we'll do one at a time. So I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion raising it 10 cents? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Abstain, opposed, where are we at? Opposed, okay, all right, so 4-1. Next,
Next, so in the process of doing that, we looked at historical records, and so that was student lunch, I guess I should be clear. Student breakfast the price of student breakfast has not been changed, I think since Janet's been,
Can I
you can kick in, yeah.
So it wasn't changed up until I started, like probably second, third year in, and
So
as
it's been
manager.
3 years.
And we just started going up 10 cents, but I did find out that breakfast does not just have to go up 10 cents. We could actually do one lump sum and pay, and we're proposing $2 for paid student breakfast because.
Not a $2 increase though.
How much
No,
is it
no,
right now?
$2,
Right.
$2 up to $2.
35-cent increase, 165 to $2. We're proposing this. This is certainly the board's purview too.
Thought on student breakfast? I know it's,
What's it
Food in
typically,
general
what's it
is-
typically
The cost of
cost
everything.
to fund a breakfast?
It's expensive, and I just feel like, I don't know.
it's tough.
Madison sits in a tough spot. I tried really hard to look at like a universal lunch or feeding them and what the National School Lunch Program offers in community eligibility. Madison does not qualify. Close, but not quite. And actually, I'll share this, Freedom had the numbers to qualify. But when I do the math for the reimbursement, they actually lose money. And so Madison would be in a similar situation.
Because you're going against adequacy too, is also.
And it also, if we go community eligibility, we no longer collect free and reduced applications, which I thought was super exciting until we had a long conversation with the state, and it affects adequacy in Title I funding.
Right.
And the risk
Right.
there is too big.
Well, yeah, along with 470 for internet and all that other stuff.
Right.
Do we have a lot, like most people that fill out the forms
Do we know that-
for the free and they do? That's good.
I think it's a pretty good response right
Yeah,
here.
I just worry about that, you know, there's families that don't fill them out just because they don't, and
Because they feel
should-
like they can
or they should
afford
be
it.
getting it, and then I worry about that stuff.
So this is where, like, the public in general can write your Congress
Right.
people, your
Right.
senators, because the way I'm looking at it, we can spend billions of dollars to Ukraine, but we can't feed our own kids. I mean, that's, and I'm saying it publicly, that it just boggles
We
my
heard.
mind.
What's that,
You know what I mean?
what's that House
It
bill?
boggles my mind.
HB 1212, we
I-
have support
I-
for that,
yeah.
that is to
I've-
increase by,
yeah.
I don't know, 300 or 350% of your income, so more people will qualify for free and reduced. And I am a huge advocate for HB 1212, and anybody who knows me has heard of that.
Did that
It
get
has
kicked back to
done
committee?
their work and emailed.
Did that get kicked back to committee at the State House?
It is, okay, so it passed our representatives, you know, our local ones. Now it is at I just talked to Tom Bucco last week
So across.
about it. It's now at the House
It's a
of
crossover.
Senate. or
So
something.
do free and reduced lunches also include breakfast?
Yes,
Yes.
that
Yes.
would include anything for breakfast and lunch that are free and reduced, yes.
We did
But
find,
our reduced kids, I'm sorry to interject,
Okay.
but our reduced kids do, because of our SB 81 or 82, we actually, they get free breakfast if they have reduced, if they qualify for reduced.
So free and reduced lunch students receive free breakfast.
Yes, all of them.
okay. And we did discover late in the year, I did at a meeting, that on the free and reduced applications, if you have any families that do not qualify for reduced and we're close, we can encourage them to apply for benefits at New Hampshire SNAP. They have their income table is higher, so they may qualify for SNAP, and if they do, they show up on the direct certification list, and then they automatically qualify.
Oh, really?
So we're gonna.
That's
I need
weird
the
that the
message out
systems
for
don't
next
work
year.
together to make it work, but, so the proposal from the administration is going from 165 to $2. Any thoughts?
I just got one other question. So
Yes.
if we go from 165 to $2 and it's a free reduced, so they get free breakfast, does the school get reimbursed that $2?
Okay,
Or how do we get reimbursed for that?
so that's a complicated question, but I'm gonna try to, do you mind?
Okay.
So I have to look at my claim to tell you exactly what we get for a set rate, but the state pays us for the free and reduced, and at least for lunch, they'll pay us a portion of what the paid, for the paid kids. So if we get $3.10 for the paid, they may pay us 25 cents or something. I don't quote me on those prices.
Yeah,
I
no,
would have
that's,
to look
I
at
just
the
didn't
reports.
know.
I mean, I wasn't prepared for this. And then, but the $2 is for paid kids only.
Right.
So I can only charge 30 cents for reduced. Well, actually, I charge nothing because state picks out at 30 cents.
Okay. So
Did
we
that
got 30.
make sense?
Okay. So that's what we get. We get the reduced rate from the state.
But what-
yes,
what's the
yes,
state
yes, I'm
pay?
so
What's the
sorry, I guess I
state
didn't follow.
pay?
I've got
Yeah.
that.
So they
For-
pay the 30 cents plus the reduced rate, which I would have to look it up.
Yes.
So state breakfast, the reduced rate is $198, and we get severe need,
Mhm.
which is another 45 cents.
So we get.
So for breakfast, we're getting $2.38.
No, I keep adding $2.28 plus 45 cents, plus the state kicks in. This is let me get on the right one. That's free, and then the state kicks in 3 cents. Reduced, the federal reimburses $198, and then there's severe need. That's another 45 cents, and the state adds 27 cents on the reduced.
So we're actually getting more per meal on
Back from the
free,
state than we're
back
charging?
from the state than we're actually charging. Wow.
That's
So that's where you look at those families that don't qualify for free and reduced, have to pay the full amount. And Madison has a lot of families like that. We're dealing with that right now, being on the rack. We dealt with it all summer with food. I was bringing kids food.
I brought some.
And I was, I would, the state will reimburse on a free lunch $3.85. And on a paid lunch, we get 40 cents. And we're under our cost.
So we are getting a subsidy on the paid
We
lunch
get a
as well.
subsidy
Okay.
on the paid lunches, but it's a fraction.
Got it.
But then also to remember that when you look at your budget, there's a food service transfer because food service has to zero out.
At the end of the year.
So, yes, you get money from the state, yes, you get money that gets paid, but whatever that difference is, then that comes out of the taxpayer's pocket because that comes out of your budget.
Right, I'm just
because
trying
it
to
has to zero
understand.
out. But I just like, so that
Federal.
people
It is a
that
lot
may
of
not understand, like, there's that piece too, so.
Yeah.
I always thought we got less
Maybe
from the
this
federal
would-
government on free and
That's
reduced.
that's what I was assuming.
What was that, Janet?
Maybe this would help your decision if you tell what our transfer is looking at right now.
We're
Between-
hoping it's 16,000.
Yeah, right now, currently, my thing says 18, negative 18,000, but I'm hoping to turn that around a little bit. But the food costs are terrible, and I can honestly tell you that I repurpose everything, I
Yeah.
freeze leftovers.
We
Oh, yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
We
But
know
it's-
we know
the
what
price
you
is-
guys do in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's
Yeah.
bad.
I just didn't know enough about the free and reduced and
no,
how
I'm glad you
the
asked.
government gives us.
And I always
what
thought
they
that
give us. I thought
when
we
you
were offering
first said
definitely-
30 cents, I'm like, wow, that sounds about right. They pay us 30 cents and we're charging somebody $2. But they're actually subsidizing even both sides,
Oh,
yeah.
So even with that, we're still
We're
falling
still,
in the
we're,
negative.
yes, we're still falling negative.
And that's why not that we want to raise it more than 10 cents, but the federal government puts that limit in, and like health insurance goes up 10%, and, you know, wages go up, everything goes up, and we're limited on the lunch piece.
I don't know. So thoughts on breakfast for students? We haven't even made it to staff yet. So right now we're currently at 165.
And you'd like to make it $2.
Right. Or
Or,
keep it the same, or anywhere in between the two.
What do you think, Sherry?
I don't know, it was hard making a decision earlier with not having a lot of data in front of you, and then once you
Yeah.
put it there, but I still think that families will struggle regardless, and that's where
Mhm.
I kinda,
I think that's a decision the board can make, and just, we did bump the food transfer down for next year's budget, but we just, we'll watch it, and if we stay the same, we'll.
I
mean,
see
things
both
like
sides, for
participation
sure.
rates
Like, I
affected.
feel.
So,
Right, trying to balance the budget, you know, and it's hard balancing the budget. Even 10 cents at a time isn't, like, how many lunches do we sell a week, Janet? And I'm putting,
That's a good
just
question.
Week.
throw a quick, or a day.
Or day,
A day.
right.
Just throw a quick number.
Breakfast,
Yeah.
too.
Depends on what we're serving, anywhere's from 55, for just Madison.
Right, just
Within Freeland,
Madison.
55 to 75, 80, depending on what we're
So we're
serving.
talking about an
And that's
upwards
breakfast.
of $8 gain
A day.
a day.
And that's breakfast as well.
Right, so it's
Breakfast,
$1,000 a
we
year.
serve about
$1,200 a year.
42 to 44 a day, and then some days, like day, I don't know what happened, but a lot of kids would come through and only sold like 24. But most days we're in high 30s or low 40s.
The only other thing I'd add to this conversation is that, I mean, I think all excellent points have been made. If we don't make an end, we're gonna get further and further
Right.
behind,
Right.
and then we're gonna have to make a big jump
A
at
jump.
some point. So I think we need to keep in line somewhat, whatever that may be. I think that's part of the conversation, because we're just gonna continue to fall, and then when you try to right size all at once, it
Then
hurts
it's gonna
more.
be worse,
Yeah.
right?
And
It's
We're,
not-
we're
it's
still
not a great-
below,
yeah.
we're still below the
Yeah, correct.
norm. Yeah.
So I mean, my thought would be, rather than going to the full $2 on breakfast, maybe we go to 175.
That's what I was
and
thinking. was-
and let's try to chip away at both together, and then try to continue to work. I know Janet's done a great job, and Heather and staff-wise, getting those free and reduced lunch forms to tell people to fill it out. It means more than just
The lunch
poor
and
or the
breakfast.
lunches.
Right.
It means a lot for our Title I. It means a lot for all of these things that pour into the school to help us day to day. Back when my kids were here, the form was sent home the first day, and it was never talked about. And they said, well, we don't have enough kids on free and reduced lunch, so we're not school-wide school for Title I. And then they did a big push, got enough in there. And it was a lot of people who they've talked to even said, if you think you don't qualify, even if you don't want it, fill out the paperwork, because it could help you. And you can also, if I'm correct, somebody here correct me if I'm wrong, let's say I lose my job mid-year and my status changes, that can be refiled mid-year. So parents need to understand that, even if, my dad's making great money and now we're never gonna qualify, we're not gonna send it. Lose my job mid-year, you've had a status change. Fill out the paperwork, let the state help us, and let them help you. I think a big push that we need to do for that, and they've done a great job over the last few years doing it.
Yeah, because that's all part of the matrix.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, I'm looking at like 175.
Okay.
That way, like you're saying, like chip away, but not all at once. I don't know. It's just-
Did you say today, Janet, we're at 44% free and reduced lunch rate?
I believe we are, I can double check, but I can tell you exactly. It's either 43 or 44.
That's
I'd say we're within a margin of
Janet,
error.
you're fine.
Plus or minus.
We're-
You're fine.
I think you're pretty
Jeremy, I'll
accurate.
take that as a motion for 175.
What's that, 165 now?
It is at 165 currently. Can I get a second for that? I'm happy to second it. Put it on the floor. Any other discussion, thoughts, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed or abstained? Opposed? So, 3, 2 opposed. Thank you, and I appreciate that. They're not easy decisions to make. So that fails. So it stays as is. 160.
No, 3-2 in favor.
No,
3-2 positive.
it was
Oh, it
three.
was 3 positive, I'm sorry, I counted backwards. 165 it is?
It's just the motion.
175 it
Go
is.
back on the table, we discussed.
Right, it's back on the table at the.
Okay, the motion passed.
The motion has passed.
It's
Student
now
price is
175.
175. Thank you, Jeremy.
So it's- oh my lord.
Vodka is down. All right, next,
We are not proposing any change to the extra milk
okay,
to stay at 35 cents.
okay.
So no action. And then adult breakfast and adult meals.
Okay,
I'm not sure I have the full recollection of what they were. I think adult lunches were $4.50. They were proposing $5,
They were 450, we didn't go
and it
up
was
last year.
$2.50 for breakfast, and we're proposing $3
so we're looking at a 50-cent increase
on both
on
adult
both
lunch and
adult breakfast and lunch. And the cost of our meals, making the meals has gone up by,
Yeah, what did I tell you it was?
$3.93. I
$3.93.
think we're still trying to fill in some numbers.
We'll have a better idea at the end of June anyways, after we get over information.
so we're looking for 50 cents, not a 50% increase on staff, lunch and breakfast. Thoughts?
I don't see anything wrong with it. They're adults. They can
Make
take
their own
their
lunch
food
at
at
home?
home or
Yep.
buy it here.
All right,
So motion?
sure.
Motion by Sherry, second by Ed. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, we'll just.
Aye.
And then Sarah would be an abstention this time because she's not currently in the room. Not counting her out. She left. Sarah will pay any differences that people can't afford.
Yeah.
Everybody
There you
motion
go.
for that?
There you go.
What else do we have?
And, vended meals contract, I have a draft, but I need to update the lunch prices in it. And it's the same as it was before, we portion out Janet's salary, compensation and benefits, based on enrollment. And Madison's enrollment's been declining and Freedom's enrollment has stayed steady, so they've actually this year paid more than they did the year before, and looks like unless something changes next year, they will pay even a little bit more. But that part of it's the same, and then Madison keeps the money reimbursed for the federal and state reimbursement
For
on the meals.
Yeah. And then now, so what do we charge them per meal? The same thing that we would charge?
This has come up in conversation recently.
Okay.
We haven't charged them per meal. We've only been, what was claimed is what was reimbursed from the federal government, what was paid lunches, student or adult payments were deposited. And then if there were extra lunches thrown out, dropped, whatever, those weren't reimbursed to Madison. So kind of doing an audit of the school lunch process now to right-size that. The contract does say that Freedom agrees to pay for all meals provided.
And provided it would be left to the building of Madison.
Correct.
Okay.
So
So for right now, we can say you're welcome.
we are,
But we'll come for you.
we are looking to change that. We'll be bringing that up at the next Freedom Board meeting, and I think what we're trying to do is get some metrics on, are there certain days when meals are more popular that we need to provide 2 or 3 extra because a kid gets to school and says, oh, it's pizza today, I want that instead of what mom packed, at least that was me. So that, that's what we're kind of looking at to find out, when we need to provide those extra meals or what that right size is.
Okay.
So just if I'm understanding this, if, say, Freedom's calling for 20 meals and we send 22,
It sounds like we've been
they're
sending a couple
not
extra.
paying for the 2? Is that
And they
what I'm
have,
understanding?
historically, they have not been paying for those too.
The extra
Okay.
meals,
Yeah.
and then say a student went home sick before lunch,
Okay.
or it happens.
And there's an obligation on our part to make sure that kids are fed and that if they forget their lunch, we have that.
Sure.
So, I mean,
Absolutely.
But there's
Everything's
just making sure that
dropped,
also that, it's being billed appropriately. So, that's something we need
Okay.
to work on. I think all sides are agreeable to that. I just need to get a little bit more information on.
So it
the
states
metrics.
that they'll pay for all meals provided, not necessarily consumed.
That's right.
So, okay, all right.
And we had questions in the process of asking them, they created more questions, so we're
And
just working through it.
I'm happy we're finding little things. I mean, it's not a ton, but it's definitely, at the end of the day,
Mhm.
it's a savings for us. Helps our bottom line.
Yeah, and I think it's just fair and what's equitable of what we need to do on both sides.
And if Freedom would like to make a contribution to the playground fund, you're welcome to do that. Wow. In their unreserved fund balances.
They have a beautiful playground
They have a
too.
beautiful playground.
They do.
We
They-
can just
they
go
just
take
got
pieces
it.
off it.
Acquire,
Acquire, thank you, Jeremy.
Their
Thank you.
taxpayers are much more than that.
And my last piece, fuel prices, I don't have a real update other than the bids going out this week. I know Freedom had directed me, their board had directed me to talk to the town to try to bid with them. So I'm gonna reach out to Town of Madison tomorrow.
They, a lot of times, in the past, haven't wanted to bid because they get a bunch of different fuels and different delivery schedules than we did
Right, so they get
prior before.
diesel.
diesel and, yeah.
Kerosene and.
You should ask
bunch
them
of-
anyways.
They didn't, I'll ask them, see what happens. If they say no, they say no. Fine.
Do we have a meeting notice for the joint board? So if fuel numbers were good, we could lock in?
Yep, we can do that. I was gonna actually ask that if we give the administration the go-ahead to lock as needed, I think, did Freedom do that?
Freedom did
Freedom
that.
did that.
So that they can, because
Yes.
Urban gives like a 24-hour
2
window or
seconds.
till midnight.
Yeah, I remember
It's
this
not
from
even
last
24
year.
hours.
Yeah.
Right, you get 2
Till
minutes.
Very
So,
much.
You click the button, your tickets are gone.
Right.
right.
Yeah, so yes,
Which
of
which
course.
happened 2 years ago, and it was like 12 cents difference. It was like, whoa.
Right.
So
Or more.
I think we've seen a lot of good savings and everything coming out of the SAU this year, and attention to detail. I would ask for a motion to give the authority to
To lock in a rate.
lock in a rate
Yes.
as they
Sooner
see,
than later.
as they see it
They've been falling,
at the
so
best.
I've
Yes.
been watching.
Heather's
But
been really keeping track of that.
I would like to get it locked in by basically the next joint board meeting, so in a couple weeks.
Okay.
And we have the fuel amount for the heating that's going on
But,
the roof.
right, the estimated propane amounts. that,
I will bump that up, because it's definitely
d-
much more than we've been using.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
So I'll take a motion to approve the administration to make a lock. Motion by Sherry, second by Sarah. Any other discussion?
No.
Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Carries. Anything else, Heather?
I think that's it.
Any questions for Heather?
Oh, wait, no, I have one more thing. I'm sorry. Well, this was exciting.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if anybody was here for the phone saga, but,
Which phone saga?
well, there were 7 lines. I think there were 7 lines, but only 6 were being used, and 1 was the voting line. We thought we had to have it. And so asked around, and Jim actually ran in, it was voting day,
I
right?
talked to, Mr. Brooks.
Mr. Brooks, and asked about where it is, where is it, do we need it? And he's like, oh, that we haven't used in 8 years.
There's a phone line in the gym that was specific for the disabled voting booth, so that you would actually fax the ballot to the state and it was recorded that way. But they changed how they did it when they updated all of our systems years ago, and they just hadn't used it. But that was
So
quite expensive.
that was $40 a month, so I thought, oh, great, it was saved. We're gonna save $180.
So for 8 years, we've been paying this?
Yes. So I called to
Send the
cancel
bill.
it with no problem. They canceled it, but then they added internet to the bill, the Spectrum. And I thought, what's going on? So I called to get that taken off. And they said, oh, well, you've been a customer for a long time. They said, no one's done an account review for you. So all said and done, our bill that should have been $350 is now $199, and it includes internet. So there's a backup if Consolidated ever goes out.
Yay, thank you.
Nice.
Heather, good work.
Nice.
I stumbled into it, but
Very
Send the
good.
bill.
So what was the reduction in total?
about $150 a month. No, 200. Actually, take that back. I just
About
count the first phone
$200 a
line.
month reduction in the bill.
So, towards the playground?
Sure. There you go, we'll take it, Jeremy.
You're just playing on their emotions. That's
We'll
wrong.
take it, we'll take it, $200, we'll
Pretty
take
sure
it.
Anna already did the math.
They've all got their calculators out.
I did.
Could have had it paid for in 8 years.
How many more phone bills?
What else can we find?
Who
Heather
needs
will find
internet?
something.
You know what? Take my phone and my bill.
Right?
Anything else for Heather, from Heather? None? All right.
I'm
Follow
excited
that.
for this.
She gave us
boy.
money back.
Oh, jeez, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to compete with Heather. I gotta work on the, where I fall on this agenda, I guess. So preschool update, we have some updates on staffing, enrollment, budgeting. So myself and the preschool leadership team, which basically consists of both Heathers and Lisa Dubois, our special student services director, met. I believe the board is aware that we've hired Kim Hogan to be our early childhood coordinator, so very excited to have Kim. She's started programs before. She's going to do a great job for us. She's already been part of some of the hiring process for some of our support staff. Our support staff model is going to look like bringing in existing staff that are already part of Madison, that where the SAU is going to contract with those employees. So we have one individual that's going to be working the mornings because that's when the most regimented, structured time is. So to have that consistent support across all 5 days is really important. And then we're going to have one individual work 2 days in the afternoon, and then another individual work 3 days in the afternoon. So for a total of 3 different people. That's also a job that there's a, it's a busy place, and we have folks that are part of the Madison Elementary School that enjoy some of the other things they're doing, and they're well trained, and they want to be part of the school as well, and also be part of the preschool program. So it was a very natural fit. So I think we're ready to go there. Very excited about the highly qualified individuals we have that are lined up to do that job.
Can I ask a question
yes.
about that? When you say existing,
Yes.
so they're not full-time?
They are full-time, but basically they're going to be working in the preschool for part of the day and then working in the Madison school the other part of the day, because it's not
But that's what I'm asking, in general,
Yep.
would those 3 have been full-time?
Yep.
5 days a week?
Yes.
So they're being taken away from,
Part of their day is, and that's been looked at through basically our staffing and auditing the staffing and looking at the needs of the students, because those are special ed students. It's always in flux, so you may or may not need individuals to do certain issues based on student enrollment and configurations of students. So that's why that
It will not
works.
take away from any Madison. So remember we talked earlier, this is why we had the reduction in force, because we didn't need there was one staff member, one para we didn't need in our budget because of what we had for student needs. So by doing, going with the working in the preschool, sorry, trying to get my words together. So we wouldn't have had to do the reduction in force if we didn't have that.
It equates to, so basically those 3 people I mentioned equate to a 1 full-time equivalency, and that was what the potential RIF would have been. So we no longer have to do that, and now we can staff the preschool program and make that work.
Are the numbers in the preschool full?
Great question. So we can segue into,
Just,
Sorry.
Yep.
did your question get answered first?
Sorry.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure, because Sarah just jumps in
I know,
and
I'm
takes
sorry.
over.
You can
Don't let her
push
hit
me.
her.
You can, yeah, you can.
So all students' needs are, I just want to preface that, all student needs are met, all IPs are being followed, the school has what they need. I've worked very closely with Heather on this to make sure that I'm not poaching her people, and that we have a good mix, and people are agreeable to that. And it's all people that want to do it. So we didn't just say you're doing this. These are all people that we interviewed and talked with and have an interest in being part of the program. Registration. So registration closed for the program on at the end of the month in May. We went through looking at registration with our team. We are basically full and running on a waiting list right now. So
Oh,
we're
wow.
really excited about that.
Okay, that's
we
great.
still have a couple things we need to look at, because some people wanted full days, some people wanted just part of the day. So we might be able to, get a couple people that are on the waiting list in. But
Okay.
based on just our initial figures, yeah, we're looking really good.
Okay.
Yeah, very excited about that.
Have the conversations been happening with the special ed students?
Yes, so we're working on, our tuition students, that's the part that we're looking at, are full on our tuition
Right.
side. And then obviously our identified students, that we're not capping that, but we need to be cognizant that we have space available to have room for our identified
Right.
students. And the nice thing that looking at our enrollment is that we are very, we matched up very nice on apportionment. We've got,
Good.
Tamworth and Madison are equal.
Great.
And then Freedom's numbers matched out. So everything, it really worked out well, so we don't have one district that everybody, everyone from Madison wanted to go and no one from Freedom or Tamworth.
Right.
It was very balanced.
Great.
So that's all very exciting.
Just get one question, just to clarify. So we could have one person in the AM that works 5
5
days
days, yeah,
in the AM,
yep.
and then 2 days in the afternoon,
Yep.
and 3 days in the afternoon.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Three
Wow,
separate people.
I'm glad I was clear enough on that, Jeremy, because I didn't
Okay.
know, I would said a lot in there, so
All
at
right,
least.
yeah, no, I just wanted to.
That was coherent enough, thank you.
So
I feel better that you got that, we're on the same page.
What is the rationale for one person doing 5 days in the morning and the other 2 splitting 3 and 2 days?
Great question. So the morning is the most structured during academics, and it's a lot of heavy, academic work. And talking with the preschool coordinator, that's when we wanted to have a consistent person, because there's going to be so much just, hey, this, and that's when we're going to have the most people, because we have the AM portion, that's the half day component.
Yep.
So to have that familiarity was really looked into when we're trying to figure out what works best.
Okay. Cool. And then
The afternoon, and sorry, the afternoon is going to be where we're going to have some unified arts. We're going to have some, structured, play. There's going to be opportunities for, I think we're going to have a, especially in the beginning of the year, a nap, rest period, so lunch, so some of these other pieces.
I want that job.
You're welcome to come by anytime. We'll get you a mat and everything.
So essentially, the way it's set up is it will be almost two different programs. The program will be different. Like, do parents realize, like, if their kids are coming in the AM, it's going to be more focused on a traditional preschool learning environment versus PM?
I don't know if we've communicated that out yet. We just communicate there's going to be the AM portion. But if you want that opportunity, I mean, that will be something that's shared out with folks. I mean, we literally just let cut the emails for registration and deposits and all that information. I mean, I don't want to say that we're going to the preschool is going to be like, hey, pick up your pens and pencils, and we're going to be crunching algebraic formulas here.
Right.
And nothing
Just
like
it'll
that.
be more
But I mean,
structured in the morning. That
in
makes
comparison
sense.
to
Right.
their day, it's going to be more structured. It's a play-based program. There's going to be lots of opportunities for recess and those other things. But just when we're looking at both those components in the day, that's the most structured part of it.
Sorry to ask so many questions. Do we know that it's mostly full-day students, or is it mostly half?
Right now, based off the metrics that I looked at, it's a majority of it is full day.
Okay, so
And
that
then there's
makes
some
sense,
students that are
right.
only coming for certain days of the week, and
Right.
some are coming all 5. So
Right.
we're
And they're
hopeful when we
preschool.
get
I mean,
into the
that's their
weeds,
prerogative.
we'll
Right.
be able to accommodate everybody.
Okay,
But right
cool.
now, we're just based off those initial numbers. We are full, but we're hoping we can reopen for a few more slots based on when we get in there and start looking at the ins and outs of the schedule.
Okay, thank you.
what about a lease type agreement?
Yes, so we are working on a budget meeting tomorrow at 9:15 because we're always, this is a program now that we've been meeting weekly on. So we've met with our preschool coordinator and some of the pieces that she needs. We've looked at storage. That's been an ongoing conversation about another shed. So we're talking about materials, desks, all those things. So we're sitting down tomorrow to look at what our staffing. Now that we have a clear vision of what our staffing looks like from our coordinator to our support staff, we know what that aspect looks like, and now we're going to get in and start looking at what do we need for additional furniture, storage.
Playground.
But yes, some
There you
playground
go,
equipment.
playground.
Different playground. Yes.
Different playground.
Different playground. Because the preschool students cannot be housed on the elementary school.
Yes.
That's new.
And might
State
might
law.
I interject that
No.
I talked with the Department Public Works over here, and they're willing to do the dirt work for us for that area.
Very grateful for that.
So that'll be a nice
Yeah.
help to
Our
get things
the
done.
Madison DPW?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're very grateful for that. Heather knows that I
Nice.
was extremely stressed out about that, and
That's great.
I really appreciate the
So
work that
the
they're doing.
preschool playground will be to the front side of the building.
Where the curtain garden area is over there.
We are bringing over some existing playground material from the former Freedom School District that is coming over.
So if you want to help grab that and maybe get some of their other stuff at the same time.
And thank you to the Freedom School District that donated that to the SAU at no
Got it.
charge, because the district did buy all
Right,
that, so
that
we
was a
thank them.
district program
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Yep. All
The
right.
only
so
thing
we
that
can't
will
skip-
be new on that playground will be a swing set.
Potential
But it will
swing
have
set.
some adaptive seating for kids.
They're welcome to give if we can get a new one.
Yours is brand new.
I know, I'm joking.
My meeting.
Ours is
Right.
All right.
it's fine. We all get a brand new swing set.
You don't
We
joke about
paid
the
for that,
playground.
girls.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got, Mike?
So that's what's happening with preschool. So I'll continue to keep. This is ever evolving, but it's really great. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears have gone into this program, and just appreciate all the community support. And we'll keep the board abreast of what's going on with that. So really happy with what's happening
Perfect.
with the program. Conway Budget Committee representative. So Amy Snow reached out to me about having someone who's might be willing to be a representative from SAU 13. At the last Freedom meeting, I believe Joyce volunteered for that. So if there's an alternate or anyone that's really wants to jump up and go to that, I know Jim used to be the representative, if I remember correctly.
I thought you were gonna do it.
Please
Jim.
hold. I'll raise my hands now. No.
You don't wanna do it?
No.
What is it again?
It's the budget, it's a representative from SAU 13 to be part of the Conway Budget Committee. So to have some conversation. Jim probably has some more history with that
Well, they don't
position.
really speak to us.
That's there's not a whole lot.
It was a show up a couple times a month to their meetings, listen to them talk, ask questions that you weren't answered, try to give input that was not received or taken.
I sat
and
at
the
a few of them,
decision was
too.
theirs no matter what, so it didn't matter.
Right.
We,
So I did 3 years and said this is a utter waste of my time.
So you fully convinced me not to take it.
No, it's one from SAU 13.
Right, so it's
Joyce has stepped
I
up
was
and said
looking,
she'd do
yes,
it.
Joyce has stepped up, so I was looking for an alternate if someone was
Oh, an
willing, and I do think, Amy is looking, that seat has gone unfilled for, probably since you filled it, Jim. So I think Amy is looking to, work on communication and have some, SAU 13 involvement, if folks are interested.
They are public meetings, so if you did want to go and sit in and just see what it
I
is,
sat in the audience.
you can. But like I said, for me, I felt it was an utter waste of time.
If folks are interested, let me know, and I can put you down as an alternate, but it sounds like Joyce is on the docket.
Okay.
SAU 9.
Number C?
Yes, exactly, yeah. Letter C, SAU 9 Capital Reserve Fund. So Jim asked me to, after our last meeting, to talk about, what's the history with some of the reserve funds at SAU 9? What have they been used for over the past 5 years? What's the remaining balance? What's the in and out there? So I reached out to Superintendent Richard. And I know Mike Wade in their business office is working on that. He did reach out that, I know they have a lot of, end of the year books that they're trying to close. So Mike's on that and will, as soon as I get that information, I will share that with the board.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Transportation update. So I spoke with Tim. So Tim is passing over the torch to Butler Transportation. That's going to take place on July 1. Tim is going to run our ESY, extended school year services for us, and existing special ed contracts until Butler is able to meet that capacity. So we'll still be having Tim involved in some way. I'm meeting with him later this week just to get another update, as this is kind of an evolving issue, and want to make sure that when we have a big crossover between a contract, that there's no no major problems, and all our T's are crossed and I's dotted. So I'll have an update there. And again, that's a 2-year contract, so we will be ending that contract with Butler in June of 2026.
Do we know, I know one of the questions we'd asked for them was, are they going to continue the late bus?
Yes.
With the sign-up system that Eldridge is using currently?
Yes, and I have that on my, have that on the list. I did ask Tim how that's been working out, and he said, like any, new initiative, there were some, hiccups along the road, but it's been working out very nicely. So
Okay.
I will make sure that is incorporated into the conversation. Perfect. We have an answer. I don't foresee that being an issue, but I'll make sure. That's a great point.
Did you ever get any information about the late bus thing?
What you got?
How did you know about it?
The late
I
bus?
just knew about it because I was here, but as a middle school parent, I had no
Because
idea.
a kid called and said.
Right, no,
Right.
the bus
Filled
isn't
the
here.
form for
That's
the
right, she
late
told
bus.
that story
There
last
was
time.
no-
Great, make her tell it again.
Oh, sorry. That's awkward. I just did, but then Heather has it on our website, correct?
Right.
Yes.
And I just didn't know, but
Yeah,
mean,
and I think because
I
it was
just
a mid-year
curious.
change, it was different, and hopefully,
Right.
if.
Tim had
they-
said that he was going to be telling kids and giving them
Yes.
forms
Oh.
with information, so it just could be
Okay.
that
Jackson doesn't really ride the bus, so
communication piece may have been lost.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus they're middle school boys and girls.
NHSBA.
Yes, the last item I have is that the new spring policy has come out. I know Ed and Jeremy have been just waiting for this moment. So
You're not leaving that. He's gone.
yeah,
Jeremy
so-
will review them
so
all
we'll-
for you.
We'll get the band back together here shortly, and I just wanted to give an
Yes.
update that we'll have some new policies coming forward that obviously with the new bills being passed, new laws being put in motion, that'll affect some of our policies. So like every year, that always happens. So we're gonna get our policy band back together, and we'll have some recommendations for the board here in the fall.
Great.
Okay.
Any questions for Mike? Moving on. Advisory Budget Committee. So Sarah currently sits on the Advisory Budget Committee. They apparently put out their schedule for the next coming year to meet twice a month.
Correct.
That's a lot of advising.
It is. I missed the other meeting because I had a baseball game, so.
That's
sorry.
all right. It's gonna
I
happen.
missed the first one, yeah.
I also reached out to the Advisory Budget Committee to see if they wanted to have somebody represent and help out with the capital improvement plan, because they seemed to have a lot of questions last year when we did it a little differently, and they didn't like it, we moved it forward, we moved it backwards at the end of the day.
Didn't like it.
They still didn't.
Still didn't.
Needed a little more
Did
kick.
they get
So
back to you?
Sharon Schilling has offered to sit and help with that. And I told her that I would reach out as soon as we set a date to kind of get back and start working on that again, which should be coming up soon, but not too soon. Madison Corner Schoolhouse. We've met. We've met with, did a walkthrough of the building, just trying to see, I know the town approved $25,000 to abate the lead. So we're trying to figure out how to utilize that the best way. Meeting with a building supply company tomorrow to see what the cost for new siding would be. So rather than trying to scrape all that siding, which becomes a lead problem, there are better ways to deal with it, just taking it completely off and replacing it, which is less time, less effort, less money, and then replacing that. So we're meeting with somebody tomorrow to see what that cost may look like. But then we still have the ground to consider as what we need to do there as well. So baby steps, but we're working towards it as well.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are they gonna put a gate on the back of the fence?
There was, are we gonna put a gate on the back? We did that here, so do we have a gate going on the back of that fence?
I have nothing to do with this. I apologize. It's
We can
not
call
That's why I
them.
was asking, there's a
Yeah,
Yeah.
gap in the
yeah.
fence.
We
Thank
can-
you, Ed, because I asked that before also.
You can reach out.
It's more like a
Yeah,
loose
we didn't
corral
walk,
at
I
this
don't
point.
like that. Get
So-
that gate up there.
So Sarah's gonna go build a gate.
I understand the need to get in and out of there to work,
I'll
but
just
Right.
say that you've spent a whole lot of money for that fence, and a gate will probably cost you a lot more money, so just keep that in mind.
or just 2 more posts to put between said fence.
Probably wasn't part
Right,
of
Just be
the,
able
to do,
yeah.
right, to slide them in.
Right, so you can
Something.
take, so you can get in and out, but just
Okay.
something so at least it's solid
And they're
across
not,
Got it.
right.
to keep small.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ed.
less
wow.
inviting.
Thank you, Ed.
Principal Woodard, can you just reach out to
Oh,
Good Neighbor Fence for me, please?
nope.
Okay,
We'll take care of that at the SAU.
thank
you.
you, I appreciate that.
I am the principal of the elementary school, not the corner schoolhouse.
not yet, no, I'm kidding.
Please hold. School board? Contract out yet, or?
Yep.
revised? Just checking. Summer meeting schedule. The superintendent and principal have advised me that there is adequate stuff not going on, that we could do a July skip, as we have done in the past.
I love that.
Unless something were to come up, and then we would call a meeting, but as of right now, if anybody has opposition, please let me know, but we can skip the month of July and then enjoy a,
And authorize the superintendent to hire, should we find qualified candidates for para or food
Food
service?
service, yeah, this time.
and authorize superintendent to hire as we see
Yes.
fit, as needed.
We could always do a Zoom
We need a
meeting if
motion
we
on
wanted
that?
to.
Yes, sir.
Or I'll
So motion for no meeting and to authorize the superintendent to hire. Second by Ed.
both of them.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed or abstaining? Carries.
Fabulous. Thank you.
All right,
Last policy.
last policy
Didn't
this
you just
time.
hear there's a spring?
That's fine. That's good.
Background investigation and criminal history records check. This is a second reading adoption.
This is, yes, this, so, little history, this is going into really the caveat here with some paying for background checks that the districts have absorbed, and the reason why this came back again is because there was some grammatical changes that one of the policy members in, and we're trying to be on all the same template for SAU 13. So,
So we need to change
I'm
one
in.
word so we're different.
Nope.
Please no.
I will take a motion to approve.
Yep.
Motion by Ed, second by Jeremy. That was the quickest
They're
thing
the
I've gotten all
pros.
night. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion-
Carries.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Motion to adjourn, second. I have at 7:24, we are out. Knock on.